Up next on Inside ChampCar, Glazed and Confused. Welcome to Inside ChampCar. I'm Brian Bielanski. He's Bill Strong. Glazed and Confused, Bill, that describes my high school years.
I thought you said blazed and confused because that could go either way too.
Yeah, well, I'm in LA. That could fit me really well. But yeah, Glazed and Confused. If anybody wonders how I got to be this manly man, Glazed might have something to do with it. And I'm not talking about ham. Welcome to the show.
Ham? You said ham?
Ham.
Where?
Ham. Did I hear? Ham. Oh, that's spam.
I could use a Christmas ham. That'd be so good right now.
Little spiral cut, honey baked.
Yeah.
Todd.
My dad sends me a ham every year. Let's talk about Todd.
Todd
We have
Buras.
another Todd.
Todd, so I have to ask you. We start with two questions. We start with one question, but I'm going to start with another question. Are you familiar with George Carlin?
Yes.
Have you seen Boys Named Todd?
Yes.
I'm so sorry, but it is one of my favorite bits of all time. If anybody,
he probably had to grow up with that, didn't he?
I'm sure he did. If anybody's never seen George Carlin, Boys Named Todd, follow that up with baseball versus football, and that will make you laugh for the rest of your lives. Todd Buras, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Sorry for the fun and frivolity off the top, but we like to get things going with a bit of laughter. And a question. We ask the same question every time. Have you watched the show? No, that's not the question. But if you have, you know what's coming. How did you get messed up in this crazy sport that we all love?
Oh, well, 1996, decided I wanted to do something. 1997, decided I wanted to go racing. And it kind of went downhill from there.
Just any background in racing before that, or just you that was just out of a whim? You decided to go racing,
and you just jumped into IMSA
well, no. All right. So a little bit of background. So I grew up flying remote control airplanes.
Okay.
It was from an early age. Pattern ships, actually. So big, huge 6-foot long airships that flew pattern and got the good eye-hand coordination. Started flying airplanes myself. Built an airplane from scratch called the Acro 1 and flew aerobatics in that. And then got out of that because that was crazy. And then decided, you know what, I think I want to go racing. So would like to try it. I won a 3-day road racing contest at this third scale IndyCar thing, a 3-day road racing thing, and went to Road Atlanta for a 3-day road racing school for SCCA. Met a guy named Tom Fowler at OPM Motorsports in 97, I think. And, so 96, 97, 98, we ran ITS and Hondas and Accords and CRXs and Oldsmobile Achivas, and then took off into the Miata world.
You and I must have crossed paths because Tom did work on my car. I was at CNN at the time, and I was running a yellow, awful, slow Honda Civic, and Tom was the guy. OPM was the Honda guy at the time in the Southeast. If you wanted stuff done, if you wanted to go fast, you go to him. So I'm sure we crossed paths. Usually, no, I'm sure you passed me is what happened many times. And I went, goodbye. Here's another OPM car that's not mine.
That's right.
That's good stuff. So when people talk to us about racing, they think we're nuts. But if you're doing acrobatic airplanes, no, you've got a different screw loose than the rest of us.
Yeah, I had a couple hair-raising experiences doing aerobatics and airplanes, and said, need to find something on the ground.
Yeah,
racing.
What, you weren't in the airplane flying it, were you?
I was physically in the airplane flying it. We fly over Lake Lanier out of Peachtree DeKalb Airport.
Sure.
In Atlanta, Georgia. And
how come I was thinking you were flying those little airplanes with the strings attached and you do this?
No, not quite.
So they were real ones.
They were real ones. And like I said, grew up doing aerobatics with remote control, so why not do it in real life?
Oh, I missed that detail.
Yeah, in real life. When you're, doing inverted eights and prop and doing all kinds of fun stuff. And screw up a couple times, you say, you know what, kind of land and walk away. So I did, and then found racing, and yeah, got blessed. 2003, we started racing Spec Miatas. That turned into the MX5 Global Cup, and did really well there. Raced a bunch of good guys, Jim Daniels and Jason Saney and Eric Foss, Mark Viller, Todd Lamb. We beat a lot of those guys, and then went IMSA racing. Got an IMSA ride with Piper Motorsports and BSI Racing and Irish Mikes, Hoover Speed. Raced for a bunch of different guys in IMSA for about 14 years, 14, 15 years, and then Global Cup for about 9 years, from 03 to 13. It usually was bring back a car better than I bought it, better than I got it, which pleased the owners, and I was just blessed. Did really well.
When did you switch from Hondas to Miatas?
2003. We got rid of I had an Oldsmobile Achieva, Kermit. Was a quad 4 dual overhead cam SCX, badass car, really cool. We had a CRX. Tom and I did, and we won the ECR series back in the day, and on ITS, I think, or ITA it was.
Sure.
And the Accord was ITB. And when we hit the Miatas, all that kind of went away. All the Honda stuff went away, and Tom kind of gravitated towards Miatas. And then I got involved with BSI with Miatas, and then the Global Cup thing came around in 04, 05, 06. And then we went to the NDs. So yeah, it turned into Miatas and some BMW stuff, and then TCR stuff and WRL and ChampCar, and back to the Miatas.
How'd you find ChampCar?
ChampCar in 2013, a guy named Rob Greenwood said, hey, let's go do this Enduro Series thing. And we didn't know what it was. So we took a Miata down there to Homestead and ran our first 14-hour or 12-hour, I think, and had a great time. And I was kind of hooked from then on, and kind of did it sparingly from 13, 14, 15, 16. And then 17, 18 started to get serious about it. And then 19, we really started doing a lot of ChampCar. And
Krispy Kreme came on about what, 17, 18, somewhere?
Yeah, that's right. The family had a Krispy Kreme franchise in Florida, and got to know the CEO real well, the one before Dana, and we started something with them, and then Dana continued it. So yeah, it's been a blessing. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm glad. I get a lot of pictures every time somebody gets a jar with coupons and the M&Ms, and get a lot of pictures. So it's kind of cool.
Is your secret just to try and get everybody fat so that you can beat them with your lightweight?
Well, that's why we bring donuts, right? Because then you get sick in the car and they can't really focus. It's like, the sugar rush.
We love them in the tower. I'll tell you, we love them in the tower.
Yeah, no, it's cool to see the coupons go. It's neat.
So you guys just won. What was the last race, Bill?
The first race Sebring that they've won was at Sebring last week,
and you had an absolutely stout driver lineup. The multiple national championships. You've got an SCCA runoffs championship. Todd Lamb's a NASA champion, and Rob Hines, who I've known for years, is otherworldly. You guys, what blows my mind is not that you won last week in Sebring; it's that you've never won before that.
See, I thought you had, but you've won class wins, not overall.
Never overall. Yeah, no, not the elusive overall. We're in a Miata. So yeah, we've gotten close. We've gotten a bunch of second place overalls, first in class. Matter of fact, the last 5 events, we've gotten 7 trophies.
Wow.
So our 12-hour Daytona, we finished 3rd overall, first in class. NOLA was a lot of fun. It was a lot of energy there. So could have won, but we had a little incident.
Okay, hold on now. Don't brush over that. Don't brush over that. You got a story there. Tell us a story.
Yeah, we got a story. So we had a really good car at NOLA, and it rained for 48 hours straight, both days.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So the first day, we led most of the time, and then we had what did we have? A tire get skinned, so we had to change tires. Took longer than it was supposed to, and we got a lap down, and Todd Lamb was in the car. He was about 6 seconds a lap faster than the overall leader, with about an hour to go. He's 40 seconds behind him. And on the very last lap, he caught him in turn 4, and they got together and spun the leader. And Todd came around and took the win. And from both videos really showed something horrible. We, you know, said, go ahead, that's fine. And then we'll get them Sunday, but this car broke on Sunday. So yeah, so we got actually it was the first fender bender I've been in, or the car's been in, and I can't tell you how long. I mean, since we started racing, really all the fenders have been on the car. I can't remember the time.
It sucks though when something like that happens and you go back and look at the video and we probably deserve to not
maybe a
take the
little
home
of
trophy
both.
home.
I don't know. I never saw the video because I just stayed out of that. That was a race director thing.
Yeah.
You know,
she had her mind made up. She did a great job. You know, she handled it well. She saw their video and I saw their video and I said, oh yeah, it looks like our fault, but here's my video. He goes, oh damn, looks like their fault. It really went both ways.
Yeah.
But
of course, the third place guy was going, take them both out, take them both out.
That's right. Yeah. So it's great. You know, seat time is fantastic. And that's what I love about ChampCar. You know, when you get 2-3 stints at 2 hours, hour 45, it's the seat time, you know, at max effort is pretty special. You don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
Do you use the same drivers on most races when everyone's available? Is that kind of the team?
Rob Hines has been the staple. He's always been there. Todd has his own team. Todd has 3 Porsches. So when his car's full and when he can, he'll race that one. And I've had really good stand-ins, Louis Bustani, and a couple other really good drivers in the car that, you know, Celine Roland, Rob Greenwood has actually driven the car, and some really good drivers in the car. So we've been pretty blessed with that. And I'm not, you know, I'm doing it for good fun. I'm not trying to make a living out of it. So we've had some really good drivers. We had Nick Broomy, who's another national champion in the car, Rob Hines. We've had Tom Fowler. Tom Fowler drives with me a lot. You know, he gets in the car quite regularly and does, you know, for 64 years old, he gets in there and he's like, how about just 2 people? I'm like, Tom, it's 14 hours. Like, yeah, 2 people are fine. We'll be okay. I'm like, Tom, that's 7 hours apiece. And he's like, no problem. I'm like, Tom, you're 60 years old. He's a blast. We love him to death. So,
and I don't think people realize how quick he is, right?
Dude, Tom Fowler, Irish, you know, I don't know if you know Irish Mike, but Irish Mike, Tom Fowler, both are quite a bit older than me, and they both get in the car, and 2 hours later, they're like, yeah, let's keep going. You know,
Can I
like,
triple stint?
we don't have a cool suit in our car, so we don't use a cool suit. And, you know, it doesn't really get too hot in there because we kind of have that half top. Really good shielding on our exhaust, so the transmission tunnel and the exhaust don't get that hot. And we have some really good support. You know, Jeff Linford is our tuner, and he does a really good job. And Jim Drago has done really good stuff with, you know, with other things, the tranny and the diff, and you know, all the other fun stuff. So, yeah, it's been a good circle of experienced people that are way smarter than me and say, you know, you need this part and you need this part, and kind of all comes together.
So are you running a straight up spec Miata, or do you have a special car that you run for ChampCar?
We don't run a spec. We run similar.
Okay.
The cage builder is East Street Automotive. It's an NA with a VVT. I mean, people give me a hard time, but literally, it's a $400 junkyard motor that we run. We break them in like it's a brand new motor, 100,000 mile. We don't even crack them open, and then we have a really good tuner, Jeff Linford, and Jeff tunes them up, and then we just keep running. They just get better and better. And then as the valve job wears out, you know, we'll send it off, get a valve job, and get our Dremel out, and start going to town to Matchport stuff and do that kind of stuff. But um, beyond that, you know,
it's just a fun weekend car.
Oh, it's a great fun weekend car. Everything is built to go a long distance. We use all conventional oils. We don't get into synthetics because we found that, you know, Irish Mike is really good about talking about tearing and shocking and shockproof oil and tearing and you know, maximizing life. You know, if it's good enough, conventional is good enough for a diesel truck driving down the road at 300,000 miles. It's good enough for my Miata for 14 hours.
Right.
Yeah, it's just heat that usually ends up killing that oil. So as long as
right.
you can keep the heat down and
Yeah.
should last.
Right. And I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, to tell you this, we ran Daytona on the tires and brakes.
You
And
told me this.
yeah, so 14 hours at Daytona, finished second overall at Daytona, first in class. I brought the same tires and the same brakes because it's hard to get ST43s right now. And they were about a quarter to half used. And we used the same tires and the same brake pads for 14 hours of Sebring, which we finished first overall, first in class. So we're literally using the same tires and the same brakes for 2 events, which is insane.
14-hour events that were both in not great conditions. They were both hot.
Yeah, really hot. And we putting down, pretty consistent lap times. And I asked everybody at the end of the thing, I was like, okay, now we can talk about brakes since it's over. What'd you guys think? And they were like, no issues whatsoever. So I'm like, bonus. That was really good.
So you're using the Ray Bessis pads, and what tires were you using?
We're kind of interesting. I have a friend, Louis Bustani, the Kumo Exta V730 just came out. And it didn't even have reviews, but when I looked at the tread pattern, I was like, man, overnight me a set of those. So he did, and we ran them at Daytona, and he couldn't get another set because they were sold out. So we really didn't have another set to run. We just said, all right, well, they don't look too bad. Let's throw them on the car and see what happens. And
so
they lasted a second.
Is there another 14 hours in them for the next race?
Oh, God, no.
No,
they're done. He finally got 2 more sets in, so I went and picked them up today. As a matter of fact, I got 2 more sets for 24 hours of VIR.
Yeah, Sebring will cheese grate some tires, man. I mean, we have a set that would last. We'd run at the time back when I used to race in the old timey days. It was the Dunlop.
Potenza.
Yeah, yes,
Potenza
not Potenza.
Yeah.
No, the Dunlop.
The Riezas.
Dureza, Dureza. Yeah, the Durezas. And one race at Sebring, and you could just see how the car slides. It's just like taking inches off the tire.
Right.
So,
yeah. These didn't grade at all. They wore flat as can be, and the car handles pretty good, and the guys know how to handle it pretty well. And they don't cheese grate stuff. And we've got the handle. And I spent the points on the handling and not aero. As you know, my car is pretty no aero whatsoever. I don't even have a wing or an under panel or even a splitter. So we worked on handling. So and I think we got it pretty good.
Well, who was it that said, Brian? Who was it that said that aero just does something?
Oh, I don't remember. We've talked about an aero.
Makes a bad driver good or something, but they don't have aero.
Right.
They're kind of good drivers, maybe.
No, they're pretty good drivers.
People were asking why you guys were like 8 laps up on everybody. And it's like, because they're good drivers. I don't know.
Have you seen their resume? So Todd, anybody who's watched the show knows, I'm the SCCA guy, and this is kind of like a UN peace summit every Tuesday night that we do. But you've rattled off a whole bunch of names of guys who have pretty stout SCCA credentials, and my question for you is are there a lot more SCCA guys running ChampCar and not admitting to it, or is there just the SCCA folks aren't doing ChampCar and they should be?
SCCA folks, well, it's kind of interesting. So we've had in my car and then some other guys. Yes, 2-time national champion Jim Drago built a car for ChampCar.
Yep.
First time showed up, won overall. It wasn't my car, but he won overall the first time, and that was at Barber. Mike Novak has a ChampCar a Mustang, and it's MK2 Motorsports. Dan Tiley, who Tie Speed builds motors, is in ChampCar. Bunch of Rossini guys are in ChampCar. Tyler Brown, Squeaky Moose Motorsports have run ChampCar a lot, and they still run SCCA. So there's a lot. We're going to the 24-hour, and some pretty big names are running with me. Greg Ira and Jesse Prather.
Yeah.
And, so those are some big names that are going to run my 24 hours of VIR with us. And they're really excited. They're like, yeah, I can't wait. So, there's a lot of SCCA guys that are running ChampCar and WRL. I know WRL is a competitor, but There's
Well,
a lot
not
of those.
really. We not at one time they were, but not anymore. We're
Oh,
sort
really?
of we're kind of partners when it comes to, when we have drivers that want to move up, WRL. When he has drivers, RJ finds drivers that need a little bit more seat time, sends them down to us. So,
Yeah.
and we work with them, and hey, when you're ready to move up, there you go. WRL is a place to go.
Yeah, we ran a full season with Irish Mike's Racing in a TCR car, and that was something. It's some pretty serious racing.
Yeah.
The cars there are where IMSA GT cars and WRL cars and SRO cars go to relive their life. It's we were running on 200 treadwear tires and a TCR Audi. We ran average 203 lap times,
Wow.
got down to
Yeah.
201. And 7 or 8 years ago to get in the 24 hours of 24 hours of Daytona in the IMSA level, it was a 206. So fast forward, that car was a 2019 TCR Audi LMS4 on 200 treadwear tires running 202s.
Right.
We led most of that race. So yeah, it's come a long way on 200 treadwear tires. So, in Sebring, it was ballistic fast, crazy, because that has a ton of aero, but yeah, there's quite a few SCCA guys running ChampCar and vice versa.
And I think it's getting more each year.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've actually had people walk up to me and go, "Why do you do that champ car thing?" And I'm like, "Well, it's fun, and they're good people, and I bet you a lot more of your friends are doing it than you think." And I tell them to go look at the results of some of these races, and they can find me in a couple weeks later. Yeah, there's a lot of SCCI guys doing this. I'm like, yeah, there are. It's
about seat time.
It's
not
fun. Exactly.
really about where you go. It's about getting that seat.
Well, we were in, in 2019, we were running the 24 hours of EIR. I got in the last 2 hour stint. We had the 30-second lead over second. On the last lap, we both ran out of gas, and it was a 10-second lead over 24 hours.
Right.
14 hours of Charlotte, I won by 6 seconds. The second place car was on our lap. I can go on. Sebring, we lost by.
Wait a second. Which Charlotte?
Charlotte 14 hour a couple years ago.
Okay.
14 hours or 12 hours.
It wasn't the one. No, because that was never mind. That was Bad Brains that beat me. Yeah.
Yeah, we were in Charlotte a while ago. We won by 10 seconds, and then Sebring, New Year's, we lost our class by 5 seconds. So when I start, we won the Daytona 14 in our class by 10 seconds, and third place was 30 seconds behind him after 14 hours. It's close racing. It's no joke. I mean, the top 3 or 4 cars are usually on the same lap and within 30 seconds of each other after 24 hours, 14 hours. It's no joke.
So you're talking about finishing first in class, second in class, not the overall. Historically, ChampCar's been the overall, and that's it.
Yeah.
Just overall. A few years back, we brought in the classes. There are some out there that really don't like the classes. What do you think about that? What do you think it's a plus to have a class set up for ChampCar?
Well, actually, it's interesting you mentioned that is, and before Dana, it was
Mike.
And he and I got fairly close, and I said, look, I'm not going to race 14 hours because I don't have a chance overall. Back in the day, I had no chance. And if you don't have classes, I'm out because I'm not going to build a BMW and I'm not going to build a Porsche. So that's where I actually ponied up my own money to start trophies for the different classes. And we picked up the tab for A class trophies for the year. And then he found a sponsor for B class trophies. So it keeps people there. I don't think you'd have such a big crowd if you didn't have individual classes where people would actually go for a trophy. So, and the trophies are amazing. The trophies are truly out of this world. It's what you strive for. You really want one. So yeah, I think class racing in ChampCar is vital because I know, we won the 24 hour. It was hard not to get a trophy because it's a lot of work.
I've been so many times just outside that, fifth place or, second in class, and so many times. But yeah, when you do get that trophy, it's the best.
It's the best. I mean, it's the best. and it's really difficult to win one of these races. People don't understand how difficult. I mean, it's
unless you have a last name of Huggins, then
Huggins. yeah, there you go. Or like Salen.
Yeah,
So I've heard some people say that a 24-hour, 14-hour is like winning a national championship.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is incredible. Everything has to go exactly right to win overall, even in the faster cars, the 240s and the E30s and the 46s.
Well, there was a pretty stout field at Sebring. So for you to beat them with a non-aero Miata,
Right.
just a VVT in it, and that's it. And
we just kept catching, hour 45 minutes, we caught a double yellow. And we were right by the entrance. So he came in right as a double yellow hit. It was just luck. I mean, it really was when we started, and that was a lap. And then we caught the double yellow again. It was another lap. We didn't do it on speed or overall.
So is that something that you plan for, that okay, if a double yellow is coming out, most likely it's going to go code 35 because, that's the time to come in and pit?
Yes and no. I mean, if you're an hour and a half in, then all of a sudden you got to take another pit stop. And at the end of the race, you're really screwed. So we really try to go the 2 hours, but we only have 13 and a half gallons of reusable. So we can only go, to stretch it, hour and 40, hour 35. So yeah, when we start looking forward about, start slowing down a lot at an hour 30 to save it, see if we can get lucky. If not, we got to come in. So it's a lot of strategy in a Miata.
So who does your strategy?
I do.
Because you have a lot. Oh, okay. Because you have a lot of people on your team that could do strategy.
Well, actually, it's funny when we're in the car. We have a lot of, I started a business when I sold the Krispy Kremes. We started wiring race cars for a living. Jeff and I, and we've started to got some pretty cool things in the car to help us out with, fuel usage, fuel burn, let you know how much fuel you have left. Really accurate stuff through the injectors. So the injectors tell us how much fuel it's burned, and then a little gauge on the dash, and you can reset it, and it tells you. And I got that from the TCR car. TCR car had all that stuff in it, and it really helped on fuel strategy because, every lap you're burning a quarter gallon, or 0.28, and then when you're under double yellow, you're burning less. So, it really helps you let you know how much fuel you've got left in the car to say, do we take the pit stop at an hour, or do you want to wait? So it's helped out a lot.
Yeah, I would think that you'd be able to get to that 2 hours with a nice full course yellow for 15 laps, 10 laps, 5 laps, 3 laps. That helps, right?
It definitely helps. Yeah. You can leave it in fifth gear and kind of idle around and save some fuel. But, we had a full green stint in one of our stints, and it bucked at a $1.28 and an hour 28. My Miata bucked. I was like, I'm coming in. Get ready. Oh, we're not ready. So,
but I'm coming in.
Yeah, we're out of fuel, buds. Didn't expect that, but we went full green for like almost 2 hours.
It was a long time because I remember, because I'm doing the log and I'm looking at the log going, should I say something like, hey, we haven't had a log entry in quite a while? Because, that's how you get shit thrown at you.
Exactly. Like a laptop.
Get stuff thrown.
No, shit.
Everybody was finding their P's and Q's. I don't think there were really any contact. There wasn't much contact. It was all blown up motors. And it's funny. It's really funny because when you're in the car and everything's going great, and then all of a sudden it's like, am I overheating the tires? It starts to get really slick out.
Right.
I'm like, no, I think somebody's blowing up. And then there's the car on the side of the road. Yep, they were blowing up. And then the pavement drives up and car's back to normal.
So. Yeah, shoot, 15 minutes into the race, we had a team, the corner worker called in. Yeah, we got oil from the 400 mark all the way around to pit in.
Oh,
like, yeah, that's a long way.
That is.
There's a funny story about that. So I was coming down the back straightaway towards 17, and it was lap 4, lap 5, I think.
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
So Dave Twatty and his BMW is in my mirrors getting bigger. They're like, he's running you down. I'm like, there's nothing I can do about it. So halfway down the back straightaway, a big, huge cloud of smoke, right? And I was like, well, he was on the line, so I'll move to the left. And I kind of went around the outside. And Dave Twatty was coming out of 16, and he says, huh, that's a lot of tire smoke. Huh, Todd's going to the outside. Oh, well. And he took the rig around.
Yeah.
He said he stopped 5 inches from the wall. He had to come in and change all 4 tires.
And his underwear. So I didn't know it was him. So the number, because I guess he was spinning so much, the corner worker really didn't know what number it was because they hadn't learned the numbers of the cars by that time. So it was like unknown number, and I'm like trying to write all this down, trying to figure out who left the oil down. It was just it was crazy
everywhere. Yeah, it was really.
Yeah.
But they did a good job cleaning it up, and then we went back to green. It really didn't bother you at all anymore. They got most of it. They got all of it.
So Todd, when you got guys like the level of talent in the car, what's the competition amongst you all like? Because Rob's pretty mild mannered. You seem to be pretty mild mannered in our discussion here. It's not, but I also know that when we put our helmet on, sometimes we become completely different human beings. What's the competition like amongst you guys?
Oh boy. We get in. It basically kind of goes like this: get in, do your fast lap, and back off. Whatever your lap is, back off a little bit. So it's really funny. I was talking to Mr. Lamb today, Todd Lamb today, and I said, my fast lap was a 38.3. His fast lap was a 38.4, and Rob Hines' fast lap was a 38.5. We were all within a tenth over,
Wow.
14 hours. And I ran my fast lap in the last stint, which was 12 hours in. Of the 14 hours in on those brakes and those tires, and I'm running 4 laps within the fastest lap of the whole race. So the car was still really, really good at the end. That's the beautiful thing is done a lot of IMSA 2-car GSST type racing, and never really get into a car that's 100%, right? So you get in a car as a second driver and the steering wheel is like this. It's like it's supposed to be like this. The pedal is really, really soft because they burned it up. This car with these guys, you get in after 14 hours and the pedal is still hard. The steering wheel is still straight and everything, it really works well. It's pretty special.
I don't think we've had anybody on, Bill, that has said that.
No, we haven't. Well, I mean, Tim Elliott's asking, what if you do the FTD on the last lap of the stint, or you try to do your FTD? That's usually when people get into trouble.
Yeah. No, it's just when traffic's right and you catch it just right, those are usually your fastest laps. We all averaged in the 40-41s, but
but you're not going for the absolute fastest because you're trying to keep the car together and give it to the next guy with at least some resemblance of a race car.
Yeah, no, we never do. We're all endurance racers. We all get it. And it's never 100% in the car. It's like the rule is third, fourth, and fifth, never second. I don't care what traffic you're in second. And we short shift at 6,500. We've got a short shift at 6,500. And if you have to, take it to 7, but don't $7,000.
Not regularly. Yeah.
No, not regularly. So and it's funny when we've put some guys in the car that are really, really fast and an hour and 10, they're calling in, I'm out of fuel. I'm like, $7,000, huh? Look at the data. Oh, second gear, huh? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. So, but the other guys at hour 48, an hour 45, they're taking care of the car. They're revving at 6,500, not using second. So,
so how many Champ Car races have you guys done? Just an estimate.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a bunch.
Probably 30.
30. And how many were you running at the end? Just an estimate.
27.
That's just nuts, Bill.
I know.
I mean, that's conservatively 300 hours of racing.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of always been known throughout, that was part of Champ Car's selling point is how many hours of racing do you get versus, some of the sprint racing.
Well, but my point is with this level of obviously a Miata is a pretty hard car.
Right.
It's tough. But with the level of talent that they put in the car to be able to complete 270 hours of 300 hours of racing, that's something.
Right. Oh yeah,
that right there,
the finish line. Yeah,
right, exactly.
Huge.
Yeah, that is just one heck of an accomplishment, Todd.
Yeah.
Pretty special. I was just thinking maybe 25, but yeah, like
even
yeah, but yeah, pretty special.
Still pretty good. I mean, if you're over a 50% average or 500 average,
that's awesome.
I don't play baseball, so I think that's. I watched CNN, not CNN, ESPN the other night. I think they said 500. That's good, right?
Yeah, 500's really good if you're playing
Yeah.
baseball. You're in the Hall of Fame. It's like
Or even racing. So.
baseball players and meteorologists are the only ones who can be right 33% of the time and end up in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. What's funny about Todd was I didn't know. I don't research all these guys that race with us. Somebody will come up to me and say, "You know who that is?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's a driver of 65 over there," or whatever. I don't know. And I was watching a race that you were at, Brian. You were commenting on, with your broadcast. Something. What do they call it? The runoffs.
Yes, the runoffs.
Yeah, the runoffs at
see
VIR.
See what I have to put up with, Todd?
Yeah,
always being trolled.
I'm watching this thing, and it's like Todd Buras, second place. Todd Buras, second place. Todd Buras, third place. Todd Buras, last. I mean, you spun or something, and you got hit. I'm going to say you got hit, but I'm like, Todd Buras, I know that guy. And sure enough, it was you. And I was like, holy shit. So I did a little bit of research, and there you are at the top. We should have started the show off with this, because everybody already knows he was national champion. But yeah, I mean, it's like, and not knowing that Todd Lamb was some sort of champion as well, or the other guys on your team.
When we talked about Sebring last week, Bill said, yeah, the team that won had Todd Buras, Todd Lamb, and Rob Hines. And I'm just sitting there just stunned. And Bill's blathering on. And I'm Googling real quick, because I know that all three of you have national championships. But Bill hasn't mentioned any of this. And I'm like, Bill, these guys are like world-class racers of our ilk of racing.
Right.
And I'm like, Bill's like, has no idea.
No clue.
It's great.
Going back to IMSA World Challenge, remember back in the days, I mean, it was pretty special. We won 6 World Challenge events in 2010, sat on the pole and won all 6 events. So it was pretty cool. Chip Hare. Chip Hare was on Irish Mike's team. He went to Canadian Motorsports Park, sat on the pole both days, and I think got first and second. We won. We were sat on the pole both days at St. Pete, won both days in a VW, VW GLI and ST. And then same as VIR, sat on the pole both days. So it's been a long, fun career. And like I said, totally blessed to be able to do that. But, go back to just back it up a little bit. Eric Foss, you guys know Eric Foss probably wrote. Eric Foss was instrumental, and I'll never forget it. He said, never, ever put aero on a car until you've absolutely maxed out the suspension, rake, toe, camber, caster, thrust. Once that's all right and you can't go any faster through the corner, then put the front splitter on and see what happens. You get a massive push, then try to balance it out with the wing and see if you go any faster. You don't go any faster, take it back off, because in a straight line, all you're doing is slowing yourself down.
Right.
So, and I was sitting there with a really close racing friend, and that kind of sank in. So it really kind of said, and literally all the aero, in a Miata, we ran a supercharged, a turbocharged, all kinds of different Miatas in different forms. And, the only place I ever really got killed with aero was turn 9 at Savannah. And that is almost an 85-mile-an-hour corner, and turn 1 at Sebring, where the aero really takes shape. Anything under 70-ish miles an hour, aero in a Miata, aero in different cars, really, you got to really know how to drive it and trust it. But it really doesn't affect it much until you get above, say, 60, 70 miles an hour for aero.
Look at Ed. I mean, Ed has no aero on his car. Actually, Ed really doesn't have a car. He has an engine with some sheet metal wrapped around it.
I don't mean to go after the guys with aero, but
no, I will. Wait, I'm an aero guy, but but I mean, it's true, because the more and more I've been to a lot of races in ChampCar. I mean, a lot, way too many, and you see guys out there winning with aero. You see Huggins out there, one car with aero, one car without aero, and they both take turns winning. You have a couple of weeks ago, you had the Danger Racing guys with their SC300. No aero, just a flipped upside down trunk lid, to give it a little spoiler, make it look a little racy. And again, no aero. Ed wins Daytona, no aero. So yeah, infinity Ed.
So using that theory, Todd, of max out your suspension, make sure all that's up and doing what it's supposed to be doing, and obviously you've done that, because you're doing pretty well. Did you do all of that and then try the aero and take it off? Have you actually even tried it?
Yeah. So like at Daytona, we run the LRB panel
Okay.
and we take some other stuff off to make the points work. And then we'll run a little bump spoiler in the rear and claim both those. We found that, our car kind of stops at 128 miles an hour and then put the LRB panel on and a little bump spoiler and it kind of goes to about 136. So we'll pick up 8-9 miles an hour in a straight line and mile an hour or two in the bus stop. But that's, in the infield, it's same exact miles an hour.
Right.
What is an LRB panel?
LRB is a little guy that cuts flat aluminum panels for Miatas and different types of cars that will make a flat bottom out of the Miata.
Okay.
So yeah, it makes a flat bottom and some other interior parts. Cool little shop. LRB, I'm not LRB.com or something.
Cool.
$180, $200 for a flat panel on the Miata. And that really helps.
That takes you up to 140?
Got to about 138 pretty regularly at the Daytona.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was only kidding, by the way.
Yeah, 136. And when you get a good draft, you can kind of keep up because the aero's really, you got a flat bottom on the front.
Sure.
But no spoiler or anything. It's just a regular front little lip on the Miata.
Bill, you got anything else for Todd before we let him go?
Nah, I think when are you going to race it with us next? At VIR here coming up.
VIR 24. Yeah, we've got some celebrities coming with us. It's pretty crazy.
Uh-oh. Can you tell us who, or is this all super stealthy at the moment?
No. I think I mentioned it at the beginning. It's Greg Ira.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Jesse Prather and Rob Hines.
Nice. That's a good crew.
It's gonna be a good group, and we've been working hard on the car since the 14-hour. We've got a little problem with the VVT, but Jeff's on it and figuring it out, and we should be good to go.
Now, it's going to be pretty cold up here. It's probably going to be in the 90s compared to what you're at in Florida.
Compared to the 105 it was today. Oh my goodness. Or the 105 it was at Sebring 14-hour.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. I don't know. I was 68 where I was at, so I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Up in the AC. Up in the AC. Yeah.
They said, "Why aren't you on pit lane interviewing these guys?" It's like, no, not in my contract. Not in my contract.
Yeah. Not sure.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us, Todd.
Before we let you go, any sponsors, significant others, anybody you want to thank?
Just you guys do a great job. It's a lot of fun. ChampCar is awesome. Everybody who sponsors it to make it happen. Discovery Parts and Tire Rack and all those guys. So
I can't tap your face. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah.
I'd always wanted to do that. Most people would punch me. I knew Todd wouldn't punch me.
It's good fun. I really enjoy it. Hope to do it for quite a long time.
There you go, man.
All right.
Thanks for having me on.
Todd Buras from
Todd.
Our Sebring race winner overall. Thanks a lot. And we'll catch up with you down the road, I'm sure.
Perfect. Sounds great.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, Greg. When we come back, or Greg,
yeah,
Bill,
whatever your
name is, Bill. When we come back, we've got some stuff to talk about Houston and a couple of other things. So stay with us. We'll be back here in just a minute or two.
ChampCar is an endurance road racing grassroots motorsports series. The idea of ChampCar is you can get a bunch of buddies together and on a budget go to these premier racetracks all over the United States and up into Canada and get maximum track time.
Josh here, Wasting Money Racing. The things that really draw us to ChampCar that we love is that the series is a little bit more serious than the other entry-level endurance racing series, and the series as a whole is like a big family, and everybody is always willing to help each other in any dire situation that you may have.
The rulebook is intentionally kept small to make it simple for everybody to go racing, and yet control costs for the competitors. For sure, one of the most exciting things for me with ChampCar was that I get to race on all these amazing racetracks, and it's super easy. No licensing, no special qualifications. All you need is your driver's license, your gear, your membership. Rent yourself some seat time, and you can go racing this weekend.
I enjoy racing with ChampCar because I think they provide the closest competition in all the amateur endurance series, and because they race at bucket list tracks.
Hi, this is Rick Brazar from Savannah, Georgia, RPM AutoWorks Racing and Apex Predators Racing Team. What I like about ChampCar Endurance Series is the opportunity it gives an old guy like myself to get back into some competitive door-to-door racing with a modest budget. You can put together a really nice car for not a lot of money, and it's a lot of fun to go out there and mix it up with some top-notch drivers. I enjoy the camaraderie, I enjoy the friendship, and I enjoy the program that ChampCar Endurance Series has put together.
All right, welcome back to Inside ChampCar. He's Bill Strong. I'm Brian Bielanski. That was a ton of fun, Bill.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
He's personable, enjoyable to be around.
Yeah.
Just a good guy and tough racer. Really
Yeah,
tough racer. And I was really glad to see them do well at Sebring.
Yeah.
So
Good stuff.
speaking of doing well, so you went off and did a autocross and a road rally with your daughter this past weekend.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I had a ton of fun. I mean, it was anytime your teenager says, I want to go do something with you. I'm like,
You
okay.
do it.
Yeah, you just do it. Because that could be the last time they ever want to
Yeah.
do anything with you. No.
Yep.
So we went and did a road rally. For those of you who might not know what a road rally is, it's on regular street roads. They give you a list of instructions, and you're trying to do the instructions in the exact time that they tell you to do it. So if you're a second
Like a
over,
TSD.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So if you're every second you're over or under is a point, and you're trying to end the rally with the least number of points. So it was a 39 stage rally, and we
Wow.
ended up with 34 points. And
Lowest score wins, right?
lowest score wins. There were a couple of zeros, but both the people who got zeros have like these fancy computers and all that kind of. So they were in a different class.
You just had a math major with you.
Math is not our family's best subject, but we followed the instructions well, and we had a great time. We won the novice class.
Oh, cool.
And we weren't the only car in the novice class. Let me put that out there. There were a couple of other
that's really
cars.
good.
But we had a really good time. And Alex is like, we should do another one. I'm like, okay, we'll go do another one. And then Saturday and Sunday, I went and did my first autocross in, probably 30 years.
Yeah.
19.
A lot harder now, isn't it?
It's not. It's different. I had street tires, which is not fast, and a Honda
Makes a lot
Fit,
of noise.
and a Honda Fit, which is not the best class car for the class that I'm in.
B-spec.
Well, it's not a B. It's just a regular stock Honda Fit. If it had all the B-spec stuff, it'd be much better. But I improved throughout the weekend, and I had a good time, and I learned a lot. And I'm really wishing that the sticky tires that I have coming were there for this weekend. They're on a truck somewhere between here and I don't know where, but they'll be here for the next event. Had a great time. So
Cool. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last time I autocrossed, Ray made fun of me the whole time.
why?
I got
Just-
lost
Oh,
in the sea of cones in the middle of the
yeah.
track.
It's a whole different deal when you
Well,
have.
no. You don't understand.
Oh, you were like,
Ray was doing the announcing for the
oh,
autocross. Ray
Yeah.
knows me,
yeah,
and Ray made fun of me.
Yeah.
Massively for
Yeah.
the next, I don't know, how long are you at an autocross? 5 hours?
yeah, yeah.
Yep. My wife and daughter wanted to die.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's how bad it was. But I did beat my son. I did get my last run was good.
That's good. That's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I only had one DNF. I think maybe there was one on Saturday, which was a practice day, and I think my first run on Sunday was a DNF. That was the competition day, but then I had 3 clean runs.
Did you get a red flag?
No, I didn't DNF that bad.
Yeah, I DNF that bad.
No. I just
I'm
missed
not
a
trying
gate.
to outdo you, by the way.
No, that's fine. I'm happy for in this situation. I'm really happy that you've outdone me. No. I just missed a gate. Went around the wrong way and finished the rest of the course like it was supposed to be. But yeah, had a really good
Yeah,
time.
I don't know if you can see that. There's a bunch of plaques up there back when in the '80s when
Yeah.
I was an autocrosser, and I was actually really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, not
So
anymore.
good stuff. Good stuff.
But yeah, so that sounds fun.
Yeah.
People are the minions are asking how Opal update. I'm not gonna say what they call it. I don't like that.
Well,
The Opal
I don't
update.
have the chat up, guys, or else I would tell the world
Yeah.
what you call it.
The Opal. Nothing. I had to mow this weekend. I had to do a bunch of other stuff because I'm leaving Thursday for MSR Houston. Not as an employee of ChampCar. I want to stress that to those people that are concerned about me. I'm going as Racing Strong, and I'm going to take pictures for the folks down there in Texas and see if we can get some good ones for you. Yeah, and then I'll be back, and then we head off to Colorado.
Nice.
For 8 + 7 hours. We haven't been to Colorado in quite a number of years, and that's going to be fun. Chelsea's running that race. Dana's running the MSR Houston race. I think Jimmy's leaving tomorrow. So he has to be there on Thursday. So I'm not getting there till Friday.
All right.
And then we all regroup. I think we get a week off. No,
Right.
we don't get a week off after Colorado. We head straight from Colorado straight to VIR for the 24 hours.
Sure.
So that's going to be all hands on deck with ChampCar employees, and everybody will be doing a show from VIR. We will not be doing a show from MSR Houston. I'm going to probably set up the marching ants. I have it all set up to do. I've even got it scheduled, so I don't need to be in the tower to do that. So I can just set it up wherever.
Right.
So any of you guys watching it, if I can set up a camera, I will, but most likely no on-site cameras. But we'll see what we can get done. Then from Colorado, probably do the same thing. I might set up a camera there because I'll be actually in the place where I can keep an eye on it. And we don't know if we have the bandwidth for it there, but and that'll also be my first exploration of electrical cars.
Oh yes, you've rented one, haven't you?
Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
As we get closer, I get kind of more. I get anxious. I don't know why.
No need
It's a
to.
car.
No need to. You'll be fine.
You know, do I try and do one of those 1.6 second series of 60 blasts and then have no battery left to get anywhere?
Oh no,
or
you'll have battery. You
okay,
can do one blast. You can do many blasts.
I don't know. It's Colorado. I don't want to get stuck on a prairie going, Chelsea, can you come get me? Because they will never let me live that.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. And then we go to VIR. We have 66 cars. And it's climbing. We were at 64 yesterday. We're at 66 now. I know we've got many more that are going to be signing up over the next few days. 66 cars. That's getting up there, man. We're getting close to what we've had in the very past. Not recently. Recently, the numbers have been pretty low for that, but we think it was due to restrictions on where people could go. But yeah, it's going to be a good race there at VIR. That will be a full 24-hour coverage. Paulie, Tiffany, myself, maybe Brian. We still have to talk about that. And David Haynes from Australia will be joining us.
Yeah, I seem to think that I might have an autocross that weekend, but I think it's just Sunday. So yeah.
Well, it does, yeah.
Well, we'll dip in.
You know, we're racing on Saturday and Sunday.
I know,
so,
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. I should be able to do something.
Yep. So, and it's not like we're relying on you to sit there and talk for 24 hours like we are Paulie.
Well, maybe if I can jump on for a couple of hours, Paulie can go take a nap.
Yeah. Well, nobody would be able to control the camera, so
That's
he controls everything from there. But yeah.
Give us one camera and we'll talk.
There you go.
I think we can make that work because Paulie needs to sleep too.
Yeah. Well, he gets the overnights. That's where we take over.
Okay.
So, and the great thing about YouTube is that you can only record X amount before it stops, and it just keeps recording the end, but you lose your beginning. So we end up usually doing a 2-parter or 3-parter. So we do, once we get the early evening, like somewhere around 8 or 9 o'clock, Paulie will go get his beauty sleep. We'll stop the show, and then I'll go on and run the show from VIR, and then run it overnight. Paulie then comes on. The plan is always 7 o'clock, but usually around 5 when there's nothing being said because we're talking in our heads, you know, because you're just without sleep.
Yeah.
Then Paulie jumps in and kind of takes over, and Tiffany just keeps going, you know, because
she's like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah. Yes. So, but yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
I used to love doing it with Doc because Doc, Doc would just fill him up with coffee and he would just go, go, go. And then you'd start to see him go. Then he'd just fill him up more coffee and he'd pick back up and go,
Yep.
go, go. So, till the one time I did, and then they got one picture of it. Yes. Yep.
All
Hit a
right.
404 page on ChampCar and you'll see that picture.
All right.
All right. So, we want to talk real quick about, we have 5 minutes left, 6 minutes left. Let's talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. Back in 2015, 2014, 2014, VIR 24. I'm the car owner, one of the drivers. We had issues because Toyota MR2s always have issues, but we started out pretty well. We're able to get the car in the top teams, and then one thing after another, and you're working on the car, you're trying to wrangle your drivers and get everybody doing stuff, and you just forget about yourself sometimes. And I ended up going down the back straight. And I've told this many, many times. I know you guys are growing tired of this, but I still want you to look out for your team, look out for yourself. I started making really stupid mistakes late at night, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And I was thinking about work, going down the back straightaway, doing 120 some odd miles an hour up the S's, thinking about work. And it's just like, what the hell, Bill? And then down the back straight again, thinking about work. Down the back straightaway, whoop, I did something there. I hit something. There we go.
Yeah,
and
you hit something.
And
keep going.
It sucked. I mean, it was just like, I don't know what's going on here. And I went around again, and same thing a couple of times, just had to snap myself out. And as I'm coming down the hog pen S's, started raining, and I wasn't focused. I didn't know what went off track, tried to come back on track, and basically lost the car straight, almost T-boned a Mustang I just passed, and straight into the wall. I ended up getting a concussion, a brain bleed, and it was not pretty. And one of the things we found out was I was severely dehydrated. And we have the high humidity in Virginia. We have the high heat. I wasn't taking care of myself. There's just a lot going on during a race weekend, and you just got to take care of yourself. And one of them is drinking, and not drinking beer, not drinking alcohol, but drink water. Fluids, sport drinks, lots of sugar, probably not the best thing for you, but lots of water. And you should start hydrating way before the race.
Yes.
Not just that race day or whatever.
Not even that race weekend. You should start Thursday or Friday, even Wednesday. If you don't want the sugary sport drink stuff, there's a couple of alternatives that are just electrolyte tablets. They come with maybe a little flavor or no flavor, but it does all the stuff the Gatorade does without the sugar. You pop them right in your water bottle, shake it up, and then down that. It gives you the same benefit as the Gatorade. So,
not just drinking too, but eat.
Yes,
eat something. Eat food. We tend to be. It's amazing. You think, I have 2 hours between stints before the next car comes in. I got hour 45. That goes by a hell of a lot quicker than you think. You've got to get your fuel jugs filled and everything. One thing that I found online was, most of us have smartwatches or some sort of phone or whatever on us that will have an alarm. Set an alarm for every hour, or every half hour. Drink and rest and do stuff and do get some sleep. I always had this fear of falling asleep because when I woke up, my car was sitting next to me. For real. So, and it wasn't because the race was over.
Yeah.
So I always had this fear of sleeping, which is probably a bad thing to do.
Right.
Bring people to help you and stuff. But with the heat going across the country this weekend, next weekend, some of us are going up to Colorado that have never been in altitude.
Yep.
You need to start drinking now and getting ready for it. The altitude, I did a high altitude research test back in 1980, summer of 1980 in Mammoth Lakes, California. Mile, it's 10,000 feet up or something. It was forever. I forget what the altitude of Mammoth Lakes is, but spent a summer up there with San Diego State, and it taught me a lot about altitude and what to do and what not to do. So make sure you guys prepare for it because you're a mile high up there.
Right.
So,
and it really helps if you have the people to get somebody who's not a driver and who's not the guy in charge. And sometimes the guy in charge isn't the driver. But if you have let's say you have 4 drivers and a person in charge, a 5th person should be there, and that person's not sole job, but one of their big jobs needs to be making sure, talking to everybody. Have you drank enough? Have you eaten enough? Do you feel okay? And make that person responsible for making sure that people are hydrating and eating.
Yeah.
Because when you're busy, your mind's in other places, and it's hard to. Not everyone has the watch with the alarm on it, and it's got to. The alarm's got to vibrate because at a racetrack you can't hear the damn
You
alarms
can't hear
anyway.
nothing. Yeah.
But I mean, make sure that you've got someone on the team. A team mom. Doesn't have to be a woman, but any kind of team person, but who's in charge of that.
Yeah, the last really hot race I did, my wife went down with us and daughter.
Yeah.
And their sole job was to keep us alive and feed us and make us drink when we were, like I said, we're focused.
Right.
And there were many times she would make me drink it right there. And it was a huge difference towards the end of the day. Now, we were only doing 60 miles an hour on the track, but in the Opal, but it was a huge difference in just how we felt and how we worked.
Right.
But yeah, take somebody, even if they're not interested in racing, they may be interested in that, helping you stay alive.
Yep.
We have the 24 coming up. One of the other things too with night racing, after 12 hours, people start making stupid mistakes. And that was one thing that happened to me. I made some really stupid mistakes on track, and I make stupid mistakes, but these are just like not normal stupid mistakes.
Right.
When you see your driver making, spinning off track, when he normally doesn't, he's maybe tapping other cars when he normally doesn't. Talk to him, let him know, hey, if you're not feeling well, bring it in and take care of your drivers, please, because bad stuff can happen. And I've been on pit lane when drivers have got out of the car and they don't walk, they don't even know where they're at.
Right.
And it's those hot days, and your cool shirts. A lot of guys run cool shirts with different types of electronic ones, or just a big soda cooler with ice in it. Those can get clogged, and that water, we had ours clog at Utah, and it boils when it doesn't go around. It boiled in that was the hottest I've ever been.
Right.
I never want to see that again. I know that we've had drivers in Florida that happened too. So have spare coolers that work, that are fully tested, that you can hot swap out or whatever. But
and don't try to power through. If something's not right, come in and get it fixed. And it's your health is more important than the finish of the race. So
and pouring water on top of somebody's head does absolutely nothing.
No.
Get the water inside of them.
Yes.
You have to have the water in you. Pouring it on your head does nothing. I guess technically it makes you feel better, but no, get it inside you.
Yep.
So
yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's and we're going to talk about this again over the next coming weeks, because it is a big thing, and it is something that it does affect a lot of our racers, because we do a lot more endurance racing than maybe a lot of sprint racers do. And it's a lot different, your third stint in, that in your, So there you go. And we're at MSR Houston this weekend. We still have room for racers. So if you want to head over to Houston, come on in, never too late, and sign up to race. Give Dana a call. If you can only do one day, give Dana a call. It's going to be hot, but not as hot as we've been to before. So same thing with Colorado. Come on out. Chelsea will fit you in. We got plenty of room, and let's go racing.
Sounds good. All right, that's going to do it for another episode of Inside Champ Car. If you like what you heard or watched, subscribe to the podcast or the YouTube channel so you won't miss any episodes. It would also be great if you shared all of this on social media. Leave us a comment on the ChampCar Facebook page. New episodes every week. Bill Strong, Brian Bielanski. This is the Racing Wire Podcast Network and ChampCar Live on YouTube. Stay with us.